First, let's talk about risks. What do they actually look like? What is a risk? So typically people break down risks into three things: a hazard, a hazardous situation, and a harm. A hazard is something that could potentially go wrong with a device. So let's take an example device, for instance. Let's say we have a glucose monitor. The hazard could be that the glucose data doesn't load for the user. Now, let's talk about a hazardous situation. A hazardous situation results from a hazard, and essentially it's a situation that could cause harm to a user. So for our glucose monitor, we said that the hazard is that the glucose data doesn't load. So the hazardous situation could be that the user's glucose is too low and they don't know it. So let's talk about harm then. Harm is a situation where the user can actually be injured. So let's take our hazardous situation, for example. The glucose is too low for our user and they don't know it. A harm that can result from that is they could go into diabetic shock. And so this is a situation that the user actually gets injured. So for harms, you typically assign a severity. This is going to tell us, okay, is this harm just like a scratch on the arm? Or is it potentially something life-threatening, like them going into a coma and maybe even dying? For each of the hazardous situations, and harms, you have probabilities of one leading to the next. And then you get a final probability. And that final probability is what you compare to that severity of the harm to figure out if your risk is acceptable or unacceptable.